Hello everyone, welcome back to Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. Last time we left off, we played... last time we left off, we continued the investigation. We went to the Nezumi Castle to find a spear missing, which was most likely used to kill Nagito. Um, we went off to... We went off to Nagito's room to find some more clues. He had a blue aluminum cap for some reason, and a gas mask and gloves. He had poison in his refrigerator, and we looked into the book that he had, and that person who supposedly was Byakuya Togami was actually not Byakuya Togami. And the Byakuya could be alive out there in his own place right now, and that person was the ultimate imposter who ended up dying. So, in whatever case, either the traitor is still alive or we're just being duped. Or maybe Nagito. No, I don't believe Nagito was a traitor. I really did believe he was trying his best to find the traitor, to stop him or her, whoever. But yeah, in other things, we're now at the class trial. But like I said around in the last episode that I think that like I said, I'm not certain about it because I could be wrong and someone definitely did kill him, but I think because of how he was tortured and what was used uh, on him, there's a possibility that he wasn't killed during his torture process instead of someone killing him with a spear, which makes no sense if they had the knife. There's also the possibility of someone stabbed him with the knife and then put the spear inside him, but otherwise, well, no. At the same time, they wouldn't have enough time to do that in when he was killed at noon sharp. At the same time, but yeah, I do think there's a possibility that he killed himself to end his suffering. Dude was very interesting. Yeah, we'll solve this case for him. Definitely one of my more favorite characters. Anyways, what do I have? Oh yeah, handiwork. Allows you to reload 2 bullets at once. Nice. Overall, this is all we have. Like I said, I bought Neural Liberation for the reason for thanks to it being super helpful. Yeah, but now I get to Kameda. Noon shot. Yeah, I get to torture wounds, burn rope, survival knife, blood on the left hand, duct tape, spear of Gungnir, Monokuma cheek, blood on girder, Monokuma panels, oil lighter, MP3 player, Sonya's account, Monokuma's account, Monami's notebook, gas smoke gloves, piece of blue paper, Monokuma's special poison, and the Glimpse Academy file. So real quick, I want to say some about these Monokuma panels. The possibility of it being behind the door that Akane kicked down, I think they made a domino effect. So I think that's from Akane. Duct tape was used to stop Nagito from screaming for help for the others to find him. The survival knife was stabbed in that area, but why wasn't it stabbed in the middle with the spear? Spear of Gungnir. Monokuma Blushu also was used to imitate it. That might have something to do. Blood of Gundir of on girder. That might have something to do. Monokuma panels, oil lighter, MP3 player, Sonya's account, Monokuma's account, Monami's notebook, gas mask and gloves. This might have been used with the addition of the special poison you might set a trap for. The piece of blue paper that might have something in that note, and then the file which he lied about because he wanted to not confuse anyone. I believe he said that in the last chapter. And yeah, otherwise all the others that's going to make a connection. But I will say this oil lighter might have been used to set the fire. So yeah. And Sonya's account about the bombs that she knew about. So yeah. Otherwise, let's continue. Oh yeah, let's check my pet. Not done. Let's finish the preparations.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you? You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit? Chesto!
Oh, she didn't say anything.
One more time! Jeez! How about this one? This will be my final blow! It's useless.
Please stop. I feel bad for Monomi.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monami. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who is attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
The traitor, the killer who murdered Nagito, is here, right? Are they the same person, or... Oh, sorry, this. Alright, what's for us here? You got surveillance, torture rooms, duct tape, medical flashing, medical panels. Interesting.
Killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
They
The
possibly
reason
were.
Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place.
No, only he knew that.
If so, the suspect
Maybe.
is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
No, all of us were there.
I found it by coincidence.
No.
There's no way I'd torture someone.
He didn't find it by coincidence. He just found it. Why did the killer have to torture Nagito? No, were the wounds on Nagito's body caused by the torture in the first place? I think it was used to shut. I think something was.
Killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up.
I think this was.
I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
I think the duct tape was used to shut him
The
up
reason Nagito's
first,
body was
so they
covered
wouldn't
with
scream
wounds.
for help.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why
Fucking
he was
hell.
so beat up.
Alright.
What were they trying to? Definitely the bomb's. If so, is whoever found
That was Fuyu. I found it. There's no way I'd torture someone.
The killer didn't take. I'm telling you, they were.
the reason Nagito's body?
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
No, that's wrong. But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything. If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared. Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
Stupid. What's so stupid about duct tape, you bitch? Bitch! I love you, Kazuchi.
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you'd obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
I don't know,
Pay
dude.
attention. This is how it went. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location.
I don't know.
Then, after they killed him,
Allow me to cut through those words. No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
Easy money.
what did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors. We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? You have a crush on him or something?
Are you in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles
I think it's
around his
too.
mouth.
I think it would be too obvious if it was Kazuchi. I don't think he's the dude.
He must
I don't
have
think
been
he's the killer.
struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer? If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
More psycho than Nagito?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
You can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse. Yeah, and right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back. Which means, it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
Killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
Well, it's Gundam.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, huh? They're right. We need to clear that up first. I think it was the oil lighter. Or Merso. Actually, no. No, the oil lighter would have to be manual. So I think it might be the panels, because the panels were
The direct
Right.
cause of the
No.
fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
well, it had to probably
The
be light.
killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter. Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
The fuck?
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
No, it was that
Or
door.
perhaps opening the door caused.
I agree with that.
I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan.
Huh?
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Like a domino effect.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
the oil lighter to hide the thing that could have been used manually, or was it? Well, no, cause hold on. Okay, so I feel like this thing was used manually, and overall, cause like if I use things, I can remove. It's not that, not that, not that. Anything from this point on, up there. Not Sonia's, not that. That was nowhere near, nowhere near, nowhere near, nowhere near, nowhere near. So the only other thing aside from that would be this MP3 player.
I see. You were talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
Ah, they were talking about falling panels. I thought they were talking about it being seen. The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. With that darkness, a loud hymn blare throughout the warehouse at full volume. As you know, the song that was used for trigger Happy Heart events. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No. No, I'm not talking about the music. As if on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
It's fine, I'll open it slowly. No, that's not the problem. Yeah, it was locked. Seriously, it'll be fine. Those words kind of brushed off everyone's warning and slowly opened the door to the warehouse. Ah, it's not opening. Say something blocking the door, I can barely open it. I knew it was a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay? Didn't I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly? Akane ignored her protest and with a mighty kick, the door flew open.
Ah, so the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter. Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
With the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
That door was the only entrance to the warehouse. I see, so the problem Toyaki is talking about is... the killer couldn't have left, right? Yeah.
I see. If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
But based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used. You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Huh?
You don't mean...
But if that's true, Nagito, this murder,
Hajime? What do you mean?
the person who said the domino effect inside the warehouse, there's only one person who could have done that. They're talking about Nagito, aren't they?
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
It could be a suicide,
He
though.
wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim. What does that mean?
He was the culprit of his own murder.
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Like you said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but like I feel like I'm overlooking something. It's one thing. So How he timed himself up. We gotta look at the rope.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible.
Hmm.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm. It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth?
What the fuck?
Or if you use your front tail?
Huh?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Tie up your own arms. Your assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct. Nagito should tie himself up. That's okay, right?
To actually tie up your own arm.
No, that's wrong.
Everything else doesn't make sense.
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
The proof that the burn right is a trap might be. Well, it's not his sleeve. The lighter? The lighter would make sense. But. Not the duct tape. The lighter makes sense, so I don't know about the right. But is it? I'm checking the guide. His right sleeve. His right sleeve. Okay, I mean, if the lighter is manual, maybe. I mean, I think he would just light on the rope on fire. I guess he could go to the... I guess it would be a little weird if he was able to light himself up, because then it should have light himself up. You know, that makes sense to me.
Let's see. Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want. Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
That's definitely wrong.
I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know.
And the left one was tied up. That's interesting. But how?
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand.
Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me. Give me back that Benjamin.
No need to try to charge me. Now she wants the money back? What the heck?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
I'm a way to stab yourself in your right hand, use only your right hand. It's okay, there's definitely an answer for this. What if the right hand... Well, not the... Maybe the blood in the girder. Not the oil lighter.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free,
Not that. Not that.
how
No.
could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
No.
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
That would be a % chance, though.
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
I agree with that. The life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach.
I'm not overthinking as much, but I'm still near. But I still looked at the guide just in case if I need
Then
help.
he slammed his hand onto it.
The blood on the girder would make sense. Though, to be fair, there's no rope on the knife. So, that would be very difficult. and I don't think that would hang on it.
If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear.
The blood,
right?
blood on the girder.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Oh my god, Kazuichi, shut the fuck up.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out.
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stabbed into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Monomi sassing me.
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
The fuck?
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible. I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
Possibility of the blood of the girder.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how we made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
She's right. We made it through several ordeals up until now by doing that. Then even now,
All right, let's do this.
it's gotta be the blood on the girder. Right? Torture wounds burn up. There is no blood on the girder. Huh.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
Yes.
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
There's a way.
And
There's a
that
way.
rules out his left hand.
There's a.
That's the case.
Fuck
the
you.
only other way is
He used his teeth?
No.
Or maybe he used his front tail.
No.
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed. What are you insane!
A blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
How did Nagito's let's work together when the spear stuck his right hand was...
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand. If that's the case, the only
I gotta be
other way-
faster.
He used his... Or maybe he used his... I know guys have
Or I can just shoot the
A blushing
bottom
Miss
one.
Sonia is freaking awesome!
I got an idea.
How did Nagito's let's work together when the spear stuck his right hand was...
He was only able to... But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No, that's wrong.
I maybe could have shot, but I was afraid of getting. I was being cautious.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain. But it's not the only unnatural bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand. Around the middle joints of his fingers.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
Nagito's line with better. Open. His hand was open. Or wait, no. Because technically speaking, if his hand was open, the blood shouldn't have gotten on his fingers. And it was not hiding. Back of his hand was exposed? No. How was he supposed to turn that? I think it was gripped.
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
God damn it!
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear!
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even
Huh?
if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
That's right. That's the problem.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear. I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
It was the cord. What section of the gear was the cord? The cord.
I see! That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh?
Not his cock!
And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
The blood on the girder, he pulled it on.
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Nagito was gripping the cord from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with a spear?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time? At a time like this, how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time? What does that mean?
Slow and steady, connect the pieces one at a time.
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
How it was positioned.
Nagito was facing up and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So if it's just before that. I'm going to end it off here because dinner is ready for me. So, we will continue this later on the case, and then, yeah, once that, we'll continue on and figure out this case. And most likely Naito may have killed himself. If that's the case, then, hey, us six are alive. And that's perfectly fine with me. Alright, thank you guys so much for coming by to this lovely day. Peace, peeps.